Well, good evening there. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Friday Briefing, and my name is Betty Kyalo. So glad that you could join us this evening as we take a look at some of the top stories that we have been covering for you here on KTN News. It is the 23rd day of June 2017. I trust that you had a great day, and if not, you know you're in the right place. We'll make it better as you usher in the weekend. We have top coverage of stories, like I mentioned, across the country. Plus, also, our Unrivaled Guest Anchor segment is on. And tonight, I'm very happy to tell you that we'll be having one of the biggest artists here in Africa. That's Patoranking. He's going to be joining me in studio in a short while. Plus, remember, we also have Willis the Word Master. He's going to be joining me from Kisum County, and he will be talking to us about those difficult pronunciations. So you can start tweeting me or texting some of those words that you want us to tackle tonight. Hashtag, of course, is Friday Briefing to use out throughout the show. Let's get this started. This is Friday Briefing. Let's begin with the highlights.
There's no merit in this appeal.
The constituency it is. IEBC loses presidential results, tallying case.
Niwapongeze majaji wa mahakama ya Court of Appeal kwa uamuzi wao.
The way to go. NASA Lord's Court ruling as its Western tour continues.
Tumefutilia mbali madeni ya kahawa ya zamani, mkulima aweze kurudi shamba, aweze kupata mapato yake.
Uhuru's bag of goodies. Jubilee campaign in Mount Kenya region enters day 3.
Mtu ametoka para amepata mtoto, amezaa, iwe kwa makusudi, iwe kwa raha yake, iwe kwa bahati mbaya, aende shuleni, ameshazaa. Hawa wengine ambao hawajazaa, si atawafundisha?
And Magufuli under fire over his remarks on teenage pregnancy. All right, so I'm sure by now you know about that Court of Appeal ruling that was made today. It is about who is going to be the final declarer of the presidential vote, and therefore the Court of Appeal today ruled that it is going to be done at constituency level. And we're asking you tonight, do you support the Court of Appeal's ruling that constituency presidential vote tallying is final? That is our BQ tonight. We'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Hashtag is Friday Briefing, or you can text me. 22155 is the number for you to chime in into the conversation. All right, and we begin from right there. And here in Nairobi, where the Court of Appeal has now ruled that the presidential results declared at the constituency will be final. The 3-judge bench declared that the IEBC chair would merely announce the sum total of all the constituency tallies, but will have no power to alter the figures. The ruling upheld an earlier decision by the High Court, which had been challenged by IEBC. And as Patrick Amimo reports, it remains unclear if the IEBC will appeal this decision.
The constituency or the National Tallying Center, those are the two choices the IEBC and the opposition coalition NASA have been haggling over for the last several weeks. The electoral body had gone to the Court of Appeal to challenge a High Court ruling that presidential election results announced at the 290 constituencies should be taken as final. The High Court had overstepped its mandate and misread the law. The appellate judges begged to differ.
We find no fault in the determination of the High Court to the extent that Regulation 83(2) provides that the results of the returning officers are subject to confirmation by the Commission. These provisions are inconsistent with the Constitution and therefore null and void. There is no merit in this appeal.
We are not persuaded that the High Court committed an error or assumed a jurisdiction that it did not have.
IEBC and the Attorney General had argued that if results at constituency level were declared final, it would open a floodgate of petitions.
It would be farcical to suggest, as the appellant did, that it would require an aggrieved candidate to file 290 petitions. There's no more substance in that argument.
Mother Karua, 43,881. Mohammed Abduba Dida, 52,848.
The declaration of results at the National Tallying Center has been a controversial exercise at every election. The chair of the electoral body has often been accused of doctoring results once they get to Nairobi. The Court of Appeal says there is no constitutional basis for the IEBC chairperson to alter presidential results at the National Tallying Center.
If any variation or confirmation is anticipated, it has to relate only to confirmation and verification that the candidate to be declared elected president has met the threshold by receiving more than half of all the votes cast in that election and at least 25% of the votes cast in each of more than half of the counties.
The IEBC had wanted its chair to have the final say on results already announced at the Constituency Tallying Center, but the judges ruled that such sweeping powers which have been used in the past were illegal.
It is as hypocritical as it is incongruous for the appellant to doubt the competency, proficiency, and honesty of its own staff as the reason for the need to verify the results to ensure they are not tampered with. The appellant has the opportunity, indeed a duty, to vet all its prospective employees to ensure they pass the integrity test.
The ruling was lauded by human rights activists as a step in the right direction. The Court of Appeal has upheld the High Court ruling that results declared at constituency level are final. It will be interesting to see whether IEBC will appeal the decision at the Supreme Court. Patrick Amimo, KTN News, Nairobi.
All right, so we'll get to some politics in a few minutes. But before then, let's just take a look at something that's happening beyond our borders. And human rights groups have reacted angrily to the remarks by Tanzanian President John Magufuli prohibiting girls who fall pregnant from resuming school. Women rights group Femnet said it would mobilize Tanzanian women to compel the president to apologize. The president shocked the region when he declared that allowing such girls to go back to school would promote loose morals in the learning institution. Here now is part of that controversial statement.
Kwamba watoto wanapoenda kule wakipata mimba, akishatoka kuzaa arudi shuleni. Na unakuta hao wanaozungumza hiji wao walipata mimba wakiwa shuleni. Nataka niwaeleze. Tukienda kwa mzaa wa namna hiyo, kwa kusikiliza ma-NGO yanakotupeleka, yanalimaliza taifa. Mtu ametoka pala amepata mtoto, amezaa, iwe kwa makusudi, iwe kwa raha yake, iwe kwa bahati mbaya, aende shuleni ameshazaa. Hawa wengine ambao hawajazaa si atawafundisha? Halafu akipata mimba tena ya pili anaenda nyumbani, akizaa tena anarudi shuleni. Anapata mimba ya tatu anaenda nyumbani, akizaa anarudi shuleni. Yani tusomeshe wazazi. Nataka niwaambie, na hizi NGO na nini wote mnaosikia, ndani ya utawala wangu kama rais, hakuna mwenye mimba atakayerudi shuleni. Narudia, hakuna mtu mwenye mtoto katika elimu ile ya darasa la kwanza mpaka sekondari atakayerudi shuleni. Amechagua maisha hayo ya mtoto, akalee vizuri mtoto. Lakini hata kama amepata mimba kwa bahati mbaya, yako mambo mengi ya kufanya ambayo yanaruhusu watu waliojifungua. Anaweza akaenda VETA, anaweza akajifunza kushona cherehani, anaweza akaenda kukopa akaanza kilimo cha kisasa, anaweza akafanya shughuli nyingine. Lakini ukishazaa, waranti ya kwenda shule za sekondari au msingi ni marufuku.
We'd like to hear your thoughts on that. So that's this part of the statement that President John Magufuli had, and it has caused him quite a lot of trouble, I must say. Women groups have come out reacting really angrily about the statements he made, saying that teenagers who get pregnant should not be allowed to go back to school. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. It's a story really, and something that has brought in quite a number of different conversations. We'd like to hear what you have to say about President Magufuli's statements. All right, let's come back to the country. And as political parties campaigned across the country, the fate of ballot printing remains caught in the courts. Chief Justice David Maraga has now appointed 3 judges to hear the application challenging the awarding of the ballot printing tender to the Dubai-based firm Al Ghurair. Now, the High Court judges Joel Ngugi, George Odunga and John Mativo will hear the case, which has been filed by the opposition National Super Alliance. Earlier in the day, Justice Odunga allowed the Jubilee Party, the Attorney General, Third Way Alliance presidential candidate Ekuru Aukot and voters Samuel Waweru to be enjoined in the suit that NASA filed against IEBC and Al Ghurair. Odunga, however, declined to stop the ballot printing exercise, which was due to commence today. The case will now be heard on Tuesday next week.
So that even if you are requiring leave, yes, make the leave before the court to regularize the proceeding that we have already filed.
A contract, even if it's about 2.5 billion, cannot be compared to the security of a country, to the life of Kenyans. And we have had, there is already mischief that needs to be corrected, because in the past, electoral processes which have been rigged have given this country very difficult situations, whether it's 2007 or the difficulties of 2013. It has not.
The circumstances of this case, as well as the issues to be canvassed, raise substantial questions of law under that particular article, and I accordingly direct that this file will be transmitted to the Chief Justice forthwith with a view to empaneling a bench of not less than 3 judges. And I direct that the matter will be placed before that bench on the 27th, that is Tuesday, at 10:30 a.m. I'll direct the registry to have a folder so that actually the parties who want to file their documents will file their documents in that folder while this matter is going to the Chief Justice.
All right, at this point, something else, of course, that is happening with the election process is that ruling that was made by the Court of Appeal today. And it is the basis of our big question tonight. And I'm seeing quite a number of reactions and comments here. And we're asking you, do you support the Court of Appeal ruling that the constituency presidential vote tallying will be final? Let me just sample 1 or 2 messages here. And somebody by the name Solomon Kipruto, you say, a landmark ruling, we're tired of botched elections, then afterwards being told we should move on. Free and fair elections is our right. Somebody here also saying, Innocent Salwa, you say, announcing results at constituency level will create trust in the elections. All right, somebody also, Dave Minor, you say, either way, this time round, it will be a clean win. Ezekiel Obilo, thank you for your comment. You say yes, with the constituency level tally final, we believe the outcome will be credible and peace will prevail. All right, thank you very much for your comments. Do keep them coming. Hashtag, of course, is Friday Briefing, and I'll be sampling some of more of your comments shortly here on the show. For now, we will take a short break here on the show, but we're coming back in a few minutes to continue with our coverage.